fix that? Wouldn't that be sweet? I understand the Cyclone's having its 80th birthday this week. I've never ridden on a Cyclone. I would love to do that. Well, many of us these days are in love with someone who is far, far away, or love somebody who's far, far away. And that's what this song is about. It's about holding on in spite of everything. Midnight walking in the middle of the city, listening to a mockingbird singing his song, sweet and pretty, but I never understood a word. Well, he started out singing so sweet and clear that it made my head bow low. It told me everything I needed to hear. Tell me, how could that mockingbird know? He's telling me, you take one step, I'll take two. Isn't it strange what two people do when they try holding on? You and I holding on. Now I know that life ain't perfect and love isn't true. Standing still is the best I can do. Sometimes I'm just holding on in my mind. I'm just holding on. Do-do, 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 do-do. Now you know if what I want isn't much. I'm not looking for rainbows. A wish on a star out of tubes. Better than nothing. I beat hell out of no one, and I'm something to hold instead of holding the blues. So if you do your half, I'm doing my part to hold to the rhythm I feel in my heart. I'm just holding on. Baby, it's a start. I'm gonna keep holding on. So if you take one step, I'll take two. Isn't it great what two people can do? And we're holding on. Me and you will get through if we keep holding on. Thanks very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Well, I moved up to Maine about 22 years ago, and wasn't very many years in there before I realized that come October, November, I start getting real angry about a lot of things. finally my partner pointed out to me, you know, you get mad at the same time of year. Maybe there's something to this. Went to the doctor, sure enough, seasonal affective disorder. It starts getting dark in Maine and I get pissed off. I grew up in Georgia. You know, it's supposed to be, even in the winter, it's daylight till 7 o'clock. And up there, oh boy, it gets dark at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I have a hard time dealing with that. I finally learned that Wellbutrin helps. Certainly does help. But managing to keep things in perspective, that's what it's really all about, is managing to realize that it could be a lot worse. For example, I could be an oyster. When depression's got you feeling like a loser, you're sucking mud, not getting anywhere. Surely hard times are a curse, but things could always be much worse. Consider the oyster for a moment, if you dare. An oyster leads a dangerous and stressful life. Indeed, his chance to live at all is mighty slim. He can expect only one fate, to end life on someone's plate, and until that, prospects are pretty grim. But why call him a he, except for clarity? A normal oyster never knows from year to year whether he is he or she, reversing sexuality till neither masculine nor feminine is clear. When he's a she, her energies are truly feminine. A single summer season when she's in her prime, she'll spawn 1,000,000 eggs with ease, send larvae squiggling through the seas, and then become a he again as if she'd only changed her mind. In 14 days, the larva speeds through adolescence, if he avoids the hungry fishies swimming by. And as he floats, he grows 1 foot and some cement to keep him put, and if he thought at all, he'd surely wonder why. By surprise, she bumps into a clean, hard object. Our lucky spat attaches firmly to this home. She hopes to hide from prying eyes until she grows into some size, but she's stuck forever, never more to roam. And one would hope that staying put would bring her safety, but extermination lurks in every tide. She lies immobile as a rock while enemies are taking stock. There is no running off, and there is nowhere else to hide. A hungry starfish wraps its arms around an oyster, like a hideous lover forcing shells apart. Thrusts its stomach in between, creating quite an ugly scene, digesting oyster sushi tartare a la carte. And there's a host of other dangers all around her. There's the boring sponge and then the oyster drill. There's the leech and the black drum to which an oyster could succumb, and even hungry ducks are known to eat their fill. If she escapes the duck leech, borer, sponge, and starfish, she must surrender as she's harvested and bought. And then some human cracks her up, using her half shell as a cup, and slips her slimy living body down his throat without a thought. So when you think you're at your lowest, life is over, recall the oyster has 1 foot and you have 2. You can kick yourself in the butt, get up and get out of that rut, and make the most of life that God has given you. Thank you. Thanks very much. Really? All right, it's warm. Oh, I know what I'm doing. Oh, I know what I need to do. I know what I need to do. It's a lot cooler out on the water. Let's do a song about water here. I was visiting a friend several years ago who lived on the edge of the Great Dismal Swamp. And it was summer. So around midnight or so, we got the canoes out and went out on the water. It was a full moon night, really beautiful out. So feel free to put on your life jacket and grab a paddle and come on for a little bit of a ride. Listen to here, there's a beaver on the river, slapping his tail in the mud, working to build his home on the water, like the good Lord said he should. Turtle on a stump bank slips into the green. Swim away unseen. Frogs all a-gumping, splashing and jumping. Walleye sliding by, hungry, hunting, flying low, the owl calls. Who knows, who knows? Listen to hear, there's a beaver on the river, slapping his tail in the mud, working to build his home on the water, like the good Lord said he should. Dragonflies dance on the glass, tuba, tuba, tuba. Mosquitoes going Starlight walks on the moonlit water, till mist takes over the sky. Come fly, way down by the Swahili River, far, far away. There's where my heart is yearning. There's where the old folks stay. Listen to hear, there's a beaver on the river, slapping his tail in the mud, working to build his home on the water, like the good Lord said, like the good Lord said he should, like the good Lord said, like the good Lord said he should. I usually say I hope you didn't get wet, but I hope you got wet. A lot cooler that way. Well, I'm the kind of person that writes about what I experience, and so I'd like to tell you a story, share a little story about my Uncle Hubert. My Uncle Hubert lived in Missouri. He was a farmer and a part-time preacher and just a great guy in general. And he was also, he was 6'3". He was the tallest man in our family. He was in fact the biggest uncle that I ever had. The biggest uncle I ever had, asking me, do you want to go fishing? A bucket of minnows, tying a hook on the line. The biggest uncle I ever had, steering a boat over Lake Wapapella, soda in the ice chest, stories to pass the time. And then he'd put fried fish and coleslaw and hush puppies on my plate. For a boy of 9 years old, it was the best meal that I ever ate. And then he'd pat me on the shoulder and tell me how much fun he'd had. Huber was the biggest uncle that I ever had. The biggest uncle I ever had, changing gears on a John Deere combine, holding me up in the seat so I could lend a hand. The biggest uncle I ever had, he plowed straight rows like a race to a sunset, had a dry summer and had to irrigate the land. And his days were long and dirty, but he did his work with joy. Back home after supper, he'd fall asleep in the lazy boy. But he was in the field at sunrise, even after his back got bad. Huber was the biggest uncle that I ever had. The biggest uncle I ever had would speak from the pulpit on a Sunday morning. He'd sing about the gospel dwelling in Beulah land. The biggest uncle I ever had, saying let's all rise for old 100th. He'd pass the collection plate and then he'd shake your hand. And his hands were rough and gnarly, and his face was weathered skin. Smelled like oats and barley, and he always wore a grin. And though I only saw him once a year, I never saw him mad. Huber was the biggest uncle that I ever had. Go tell Aunt Rhody, go tell Aunt Rhody, go tell Aunt Rhody, the old gray gander's dead. The one she was saving, the one she was saving, the one she was saving to make a feather bed. The biggest uncle I ever had, he wandered off on a rainy evening. He went down the road, forgot how to find his way. The biggest uncle I ever had got lost in thought till his mind started slipping. When they found him, he didn't have a word to say. First he started losing keys, and then he started losing time. The church, the farm, the family disappearing from his mind. When they called to say he passed away, it made me sad. 'Cause Huber was the biggest uncle that I ever had. Yeah, Huber was the biggest uncle that I ever had. Thanks very much. Thank you so kindly. Thank you very much. I do have a few CDs over there at the tent. Most of the songs you've been hearing today are from the album Moon, which has the Oyster song and Coney Island Lullaby and things like that. But there's an album called Scrapbook that's got Uncle Hubert on it. And then if you enjoy something aimed more at children, there's an album there called The Mockingbird. It's the Orange album, and that's got Uncle Hubert on it. It's also got Coney Island Lullaby and other songs there. And there's an album there called American Seeds, which is mostly Americana folk songs. That's what that one's about. Well, this song, I was inspired by a young man. I've got a friend whose name is Gene, lives up near Syracuse, New York. And Gene, the whole time that he was going to school, they referred to him as the retard. You know, he was the one that sat at a table by himself, and, you know, there was some adult there to watch him and make sure he ate and stayed out of other people's hair, basically. This is because they didn't know what autism was in those days. And his parents, surprisingly enough, far advanced for people of that day, insisted that he be in school. They just insisted that he be there where everybody else was instead of putting him away in an institution. Well, so Gene went through school, managed to get through every day, and didn't disrupt terribly often. When he got out of school, the University at Syracuse was working on a project which they call facilitated communication, which is they're taking people who have a difficult time communicating, getting words or anything out, and they try to find some way to help them communicate what's going on inside. And they thought, well, they'd give that a try with Gene, just see what they could do. And so they put this big board up in front of him and say, Gene, can you point at the rooster? Well, he wasn't pointing at anything. So they tried different methods and finally realized that if he could put pressure on somebody else's hand, he could guide his finger. And so they'd say, Gene, point at the rooster, and he'd point at the rooster. And, all right, Gene, point at the car, and he'd point at the picture of the car. This is a very long process of getting to point and aim at particular things. And then they were working with the alphabet, working with different things, fine-tuning that. And finally one day they sat him down in front of a computer keyboard and they said, Gene, why don't you type whatever you want to type? And Gene typed I-M-I-N-H-E-R-E. I'm in here. That was his message. And Gene now is teaching college classes and telling the world what it was like to grow up as a person with autism who could not speak otherwise. He's an amazing young man. Well, he wrote this magnificent article called On Almost Becoming a Real Person. Because all of his life he was not treated as a real person. He refers to himself with people treating him like he was a puppet, like he was Pinocchio. And he can very much relate to Pinocchio. And all that is what inspired this song called Wooden Boy. I'm the wooden boy, it's what they think of me. At school and on the playground, that's all I'll ever be. I cannot join the fun, they push me from the games. I see their mocking faces, I hear them call me names. Mother says my real name and turns down the light. We have to say our prayers before we sleep tonight. She folds my hands together like I was a toy. I pray that when I wake I'll be a real boy with my hanging head and these ink spot eyes. No one comes near. With an eager mind and a longing heart, I'm in here. I'm in here. Father doesn't listen when people say he's just an old fool who should throw me away. They say I'm broken, can't come to any good. What is a father's love to a boy of wood? With my hanging head and these ink spot eyes, no one comes near. With an eager mind and a longing heart, I'm in me up to lay me on my bed, tucks in the checkered blanket, kisses me on the head. Father reads a fairy tale, a wooden boy like me who's swallowed by a whale but rises from the sea. Maybe all you see, a puppet on a string, but there is more to me. And all I ask of you is to be understood, to see the boy beneath the boy who's made of wood. appreciate that. Thank you. Gene has an incredible story, and if you'd like to, you can visit my website, which is www.martinswinger.com. And there's a section there about my new album, and it's got the entire article written there, and it's just an amazing piece of literature, what this young man has written. So please do visit it. Check out Gene Marcus. Well, it's about time for me to wrap up here. I'd like to share probably the strangest love song anybody ever wrote. This is a love song that transcends time, space, media, logic, probability. Providence has brought two souls together. For karma, it was certainly a coup. He fell in love the moment that he met her. So Buddha started dating Betty Boop. Betty Boop and Buddha driving in a car, stopping at the farmer's market. Buddha riding shotgun, Betty at the wheel, saying boop boop and looking for a place to park it. Betty Boop and Buddha are weaving down the aisle. Betty Boop is shopping, Buddha humming. Betty buys a bagel, Buddha eyes a beer. Buddha, Betty tells him, you can put that pack right here, boop boop and do. But before you do, I've got a jug of wine, bread and cheese for two. Buddha smiles at Betty, Betty smiles at Buddha too. Buddha, he's just humming cause he hopes Nirvana's coming, boop and do. Rudy boop boy, shoot boop ba ribbit up boy, ratu da booday. Ribbit boy ba shupa, rebe ba doy, rito doy, stupa didi ba 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 ba. Betty Boop and Buddha playing at the dance. Buddha on the bass is just a swinging. Betty on a squeeze box pumping out a tune. Saying bop boppity bop, it don't mean maybe. Oh Buddha, won't you be my baby? Ooh, and Betty sways her knees, fingers flying, feet and toes are flapping. Betty plays a polka like a beehive full of bees. Buddha's fingers snapping cause he's sure Nirvana's bound to happen. Ooh, Betty Boop and Buddha decide they wanna dance. The existential band keeps right on playing. Betty, Buddha whispers, my dear, you dance divine. And Betty starts to bubble. Buddha dips her double time, ba-doo. And Betty rolls her eyes. Buddha, I believe I'm feeling butterflies. Buddha's heart is thumping. Oh, Buddha, 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 oh, Buddha, Buddha, Buddha. Betty's heart is bumping. Betty, Buddha, Betty, Buddha. No matter what you say now, Nirvana's on its way now. Betty Boop, Buddha, Buddha Boop, Betty, Betty Boop, Buddha, Betty Boop, 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 Ba-doop. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. If any of you are inclined, I'm going to be bringing special music to the church. Why, thank you so much. I'm going to be bringing special church to the music tomorrow morning. Special music to the church tomorrow morning, inside here. So please come on into services Sunday morning, and we'll be talking about things we believe in, and you might be amazed some of the things I believe in. This is one of the things I believe in. I believe that when we all pass away, we turn into flocks of birds. So, you know, you see them swarming around in those groups, and I just keep thinking, boy, that's somebody's spirit there, swelling around and flying. It works for me anyway. So I was inspired by birds to write this song. It's a song called Music in the Rafters, and there's a chorus that you can sing along with me. What would a folk festival be without a sing-along? And the chorus is very simple. It's music in the rafters, rhythm in the wings, melody in laughter, music in the rafters. Up in the beams a swallow built a nest to start another generation, to shelter a family from the rain and make music. A feathered mystery unfolds, songs of hunger being answered as little wings learn how to fly and make music. Music in the rafters, rhythm in the wings, melody in laughter, music in the rafters. I'll sing that again, see if you can sing it with me. Music in the rafters, rhythm in the wings, melody in laughter, music in the rafters. Music in the rafters, rhythm in the wings, melody in laughter, music in the rafters. They sing the meadows and the trees, they sing the buzzing bugs they capture, they sing awake the morning star and make music. And when we shake these earthly bounds, our souls are finally free to wander. We'll circle in our shimmering sound and make music. Music in the rafters, music in the rafters, rhythm in the wings, melody in laughter, music in the rafters. And when we have our swallow's wings, we will sail the moon beneath our wingspan, and every word we'll gladly sing and make music. We'll sing the little ones asleep, sing with the elders of our lost loves. We'll sing a prayer of harmony and make music. Music in the rafters, rhythm in the wings, melody in laughter, music in the rafters. There's one free spirit deep inside, will lift you if you only listen. Let out the voice you try to hide and make music. Here we go. Music in the rafters, rhythm in the wings, melody in laughter, music in the rafters, music in the rafters, rhythm in the wings, melody in laughter, music in the rafters. Martin Swinger, thank you very much, folks. Appreciate it. Family stage in about any minute now. Come on down to sing some sing-along songs with us. Thank you very much for joining us.